Governor, a two-parter. First off, do you find irony in the fact that municipal officials who are often scream bloody murder when they're handed mandates by a variety of state or federal agencies are all of a sudden seeking a mandate from the state government? And is that, in a sense, you feel any of them are seeking political cover from what is obviously a difficult, contentious issue in many communities?
Yeah, so I think that while it clearly is on a state level, federal level, and local level, the mask issue is a political issue more so than anything else. This is what I would say to people who are concerned about masking, right? What's the worst that could happen? If you're right that somehow you don't need masks to keep kids safe, what's the worst that could happen if they mask their kids? The state. But what's the worst that could happen if CDC guidance is correct? Our Department of Health guidance is correct, that actually our kids at risk if they don't wear a mask. What's the worst could happen? Just think about that. As far as your question relative to local, I think that what's happened here is that the locals have stepped up. 80% of the districts have stepped up and have taken the heat. There was the Cranston meeting didn't go real smooth, but it was democracy in action. I believe that local discussion on these issues is important. I believe that discussion is going to get us closer to beating this COVID, and I think it's going to get us closer to getting people vaccinated. So yes, there's a sense of political cover in every seat that we sit in when we're elected. I just happen to don't think this is the time that politics should get involved in a situation when we're dealing with a pandemic that is putting our health at risk, our economy at risk, and our schools at risk. But Rhode Island, again, I'll talk to the people of the state of Rhode Island. We've responded very well. You've responded very well. We lead the country in economic recovery. We lead the country in vaccinations and safety issues right now per capita. And we're going to lead the country in terms of the way that our schools open up. We can do all three. We don't have to pick one over the other.
And Governor, there is an overwhelming sense of dread in many folks with regard to the upcoming legislative session. The fear is that, number one, reopening Pandora's box, anything can happen when the GA is open for business. And number two, we've got the specter now finally of the federal money hitting the Rhode Island government, if you will, scene. Number one, is there going to be an agenda published as far as what you and the GA and General Assembly are going to do in this session? And number two, what will the executive branch do to promote transparency as to where these billions and billions of dollars are going?
Well, I don't know if it's billions and billions, but we got a billion. So, but at the same point in time, I am continually in conversations with leadership, as I've pledged to do, and they have collaborated weekly meetings. I think we're coming off a chief of staff meeting as we're talking right now with leadership, with our chief of staffs, talking about how we could potentially get a jump start on some of the federal dollars so we could keep our position of leading the country in our economic recovery and keep our position in keeping us safe. So in terms of, I don't know, I'm here every week. So as far as like an open book in terms of being able to ask me questions and being able to get information, I don't know much what I can do, but if I can do better, you tell me how I can do better, and I'll be happy to do better. But it will be an open dialogue in terms of how those monies are being spent. We're in the middle of, as the Lieutenant Governor said, we're in the middle of, I think, the 12th to 15th public session that is online, that is outlining how we may be able to use those federal funds to jumpstart us towards a Rhode Island 2030. So we'll continue to do that. I would say the people who feel as though that they need more information, they should be calling our respective offices, and we should be providing with the information that they're asking for.